Every day in the USA, people find themselves in court.
We're going to address the matter of People versus Cassandra Louise Gilbert. That's you?
Yes.
Ms. Gilbert, you're here to this day on a truancy case that alleged that back in the fall of 2024, you failed to send your children to school. You were sentenced last week on another case, and you're doing some jail time on that. You've been in jail, according to the jail roster, for 8 days, plus the day that you did up front on this, which would be 9 days of jail. The prosecutor is recommending that if you plead no contest to this charge, they would have no objection to a sentence of time served, which would be 9 days. Is that correct, Mr. Robert?
That's correct.
You agree with that, Mr. Gibson?
Yes, yeah.
Now, truancy used to carry a 2-day jail sentence. They took that out a few years ago. There is legitimate reason for a no contest plea. There are issues with your boyfriend, and there's also an abuse neglect case. And this would insulate you from using your plea against you in another action. There is enough information in the affidavit to support a no contest plea. Oh, we got the hiccups.
Yeah.
Well, let's recap. I touched on it briefly, but the formal complaint alleges that in the fall, November of 2024, that you failed to send your child, we'll just use his initials, MW, to school. And that is a misdemeanor punishable by not more than 90 days and not less than $5. That's how old the statute is, and not more than $50. And it used to carry a minimum of 2 days. Ms. Gilbert, do you understand the charge?
Yes, I do.
And do you understand that by pleading no contest, you don't admit what happened, but you also don't deny what happened, and you would allow or accept that a conviction would enter?
Yes.
All right. Now, we went through this a week or so ago, but let's make sure we understand. Do you understand that by pleading no contest to this charge, you'll be giving up your right to have a trial in front of a judge or jury? There will not be a trial. If you had a trial, you'd have the right to be represented by an attorney. Mr. Gibson has been appointed to represent you in all of your matters. You could also hire an attorney of your own choosing if you wished. If you had a trial, you'd have a right to have any of the witnesses for or against you subpoenaed to come to court so they could be questioned under oath. You would have the right to take the witness stand to testify on your own behalf, but you don't have to, because you have a right not to testify. And if you did not wish to testify,
No, I should have just tried harder.
all right, yes. And you have to be proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And you have that right.
I was scared of him, so.
Yes. The affidavit of probable cause, which was done by Pete Vandenbrink, who was still a deputy with the sheriff's department, but he's assigned to White Pigeon Schools. And actually, he now is with White Pigeon, but he's assigned to White Pigeon Schools. He got a complaint from the school that Ms. Gilbert's son was not attending school. I think he was in the 6th grade.
Yeah,
He'd missed 89 out of 180 days for the 2023-24 year, and he'd already missed 24 out of 54 days for the 2024 school year. So that is certainly a sufficient factual basis. He's in foster care right now, and I haven't heard how he's doing attendance wise.
he's with my sister.
Oh, is he?
Mhm.
Is he going to school?
Yes, he is.
Well, good.
I managed to get him with my sister.
Your out date is, let's see what I can see here. $5/31. I want to order 9 days jail credit, 9 days, giving 0 days to serve. I have to order $5. I'm gonna order the state minimum fee, so that's $130 for 2 days, which will get swallowed up by the time you're already doing. Your out date is at the end of May. I don't really have, you and I had a long discussion at the time of your plea on the probation violation. There's no need to go into it all again here. I'm just gonna follow the prosecutor's plea offer and give you time served, the minimum allowable fine, which will get swallowed up by the time that you're doing. All right, Ms. Gilbert, do you have any questions?
No,
All right, you're good to go. Thank you. I'm glad to hear he's doing better. Thank you, Mr. Gibson.
Thank you.
Lewis Hall. This is file number 242302 SM. People versus Lewis Hall. That's you, sir?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hall, you got charged in December, day after Christmas, with domestic violence on your former girlfriend, I think. Assault and battery on her current friend, and malicious destruction of personal property. This was first charged as a breaking and entering, and then was amended, reduced to this misdemeanor charge. You're here with your lawyer, Jordan Harden, and Chief Assistant Prosecutor Josh Robert is here. Mr. Robert, what's the status of this one?
The offer today is for the defendant to plead guilty to the count of assault and battery that's on the complaint and also admit to the bond violation. The remainder would be dismissed.
Yeah, thank you for reminding me of that.
We're not asking for additional time for the bond violation. He's currently serving time for the underlining what he did to violate the bond up in Kalamazoo.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I wasn't very happy about it.
Yes, Your Honor, there were charges that resulted in Kalamazoo County. He has resolved those. He's on probation. He's actually set to go in tonight to start serving his jail sanction for that matter.
All right, good.
So we would just respectfully ask that any sentencing on the bond violation be set at the same time as the sentencing on
Okay.
assault. Thank you.
All right, let's look at this. What about restitution for the broken door?
Well, we did not discuss that. It looks like the victim has requested restitution.
Is there a figure?
was like $3,100.
For
Wow.
the door?
I'm just saying what's written on.
Well, we may have to have a
I
restitution
say, we
hearing.
would have no
The
issue with
police,
a
the
reasonable-
affidavit says $200 or $300.
Right. My
Um,
client has no issue with that figure for a door.
All right, well, we may have to explore it further. All right, Mr. Hall, you've been here. Let's break this down a little bit. The domestic violence charge with the complaining witness as Maria Winchell will be dismissed. The malicious destruction of property regarding the broken door will be dismissed. Those are both chargeable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. The domestic violence prohibits you from using or possessing a firearm. I don't believe assault and battery does it, Joshua?
I don't know that. off the
I
top of
don't
my head.
believe it does.
He does have, I think, some restrictions with that, with the Kalamazoo probation.
At any rate, what's left is an assault and battery and impermissive touching on Richard Stone, who was the resident or occupant of that house. That's punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. Do you understand?
Your Honor.
Anybody threaten you to plead to this charge
No.
or promise you anything other than what's in the plea agreement?
No.
All right, well, let's go back to this. The bond report, what was I using? Well, that's the last guy, that won't help me. That I wasn't clear what time of day this was. This was the day after Christmas, is that correct?
I thought it was the 27th. So
Oh,
2 days after.
Well, you got arrested, I guess, the 27th. Let's see what it shows here. It says offense
Yeah,
date
The police report
12/26.
says at 22:07 hours on the 26th.
All right, so it was like
10.
10 o'clock at night, the night before. You live in Vicksburg
Yes.
and you drove over to this property on Marcellus Road. And that's where Mariah Winchell lived.
No.
That's where Mr. Stone lived.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, why did you go there?
Because Mariah and I had spent Christmas together and she had a few of my items and she told me that they were in Richard's mailbox. And so I drove over there to get them. One of the items I thought was my wallet. So they were pretty important for me to have that. I went over there and there's nothing in the mailbox. So I walked up to the door and knocked on the door. And that's when I was met by Richard with his arm, and that's when he shoved me.
All right, there's varying versions of what happened. But Richard didn't want you in his house, is that correct?
I'm unsure.
Well, the fact that he tried to push out the door and shut it behind you probably was an indication of that. Did you end up getting in some sort of a tussle with him?
Yeah, we did. Yes. Richard has been a friend of mine for probably the last 10 years. And I don't know if it makes any difference, but we've spent a significant amount of time in the house. And
All right, so this isn't a house you're unfamiliar with.
that's correct.
You've been there many times before.
That is correct.
So your best old ex-friend, Richard. She's living in LA with my best old ex-friend, Richard. All right, and then did the door get broken?
The door was broken. I'm not sure by who, though.
But in the tussle?
Yes, Your Honor.
Probably the best time to do this wasn't 10 o'clock at night. Had you been drinking?
I had a couple of drinks that night.
All right, again, not the greatest plan, but there was a lot of emotion involved here. Let's talk about the bond violation. I gave you a giant gift by setting that for the same day as today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Travis Miller, who's one of the deputies at the sheriff's department, submitted the way he's supposed to. A notice of bond violation that you contacted the protected party Maya Winchell by telephone on 2/16, 2/17, and 2/9. And that got reported to the Vicksburg Police Department. So in violation of my order, did you try to contact Mariah by telephone in February?
Some of those were between my daughter and I, but I'm sure that a few of those calls Mariah and I did communicate.
Do you and Mariah have a child together?
They do.
All right.
A lot of times she will call me from Mariah's phone.
All right, well, Mariah felt strongly enough about it that she reported it to Vicksburg PD. So what did you get charged with in Kalamazoo?
He was charged with aggravated stalking. He pled to the reduced charge of stalking and received probation. That was a no contest plea. As indicated, he was sentenced to 30 days jail to be scheduled. That starts tonight. The Kalamazoo County Court did take into consideration the child. My client does share with Ms. Winchell. There is a parenting time and custody order through Kalamazoo County. That is in full force and effect, and the judge up there has decided to honor my client's time with his child and schedule the jail around when he has his child.
Which judge had it?
I can quickly look that up. I don't have it off the top of my
It
head.
was, what was her name?
The female judge.
Judge
It was a female
Hemingway?
Judge, yeah. Angie's. I think.
I can tell I may have a big impact on people when they can't remember my name.
There's a lot of judges in Kalamazoo.
All right, well, we'll sort that out. Restitution issue, well,
Looks like Judge Ankley.
that's circuit court.
It was initially charged as a felony.
No, Judge Ankley's a
And
misdemeanor.
it was reduced to the misdemeanor.
Well, it's hard to tell because the judges in Kalamazoo all each do a lot of different things. But she's a district judge by election. All right, are you working somewhere?
I would be working for my mom, but right now the store that she operates is too close to Mariah's house, so I haven't been able to
What's the
work there.
store?
It's called Home Again Consignments. It's a consignment store in Vicksburg.
Okay, I'm familiar with it.
Yep. So aside from that, I do a lot of contract work. I plow snow, but obviously not right now.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
All right, you're around real tight. There's a lot going on here. It's all kind of subdued here. But
He is on community corrections too. He's actually on
Yes.
a tether. So I don't
how
know.
old's your daughter?
She's 6.
That complicates everything because you guys are stuck with each other for the next 12 years. You weren't married. Is there a custody or visitation order in
There
effect
is.
in Kalamazoo or St. Joe
Kalamazoo
County?
County, both parties reside in Vicksburg. My client tells me that I think it's a joint custody arrangement. So he's heavily involved in his child's life. So thankfully, the Kalamazoo County Court was mindful of that and allowing him to schedule his sanction around that.
Well, Jordan, you're here in for a penny, in for a pound. Let's set this also for May 5th at 11 o'clock.
Thank you.
I'd like to see the report. Pictures, damage estimates, victim input.
Your Honor, because Mr. Hall is on probation in Kalamazoo County, would the court consider modifying the community corrections provision as it relates to the tether?
No,
Okay.
although that's expensive, isn't it?
So on the tether? Okay. because you're- Okay. Melissa Bliss, he's meeting with her today. They're gonna remove the tether because he's going into custody tonight. in
Okay,
Kalamazoo, so, never mind.
all right. Yeah, I wouldn't have made him wear it while he's in jail, so that
Okay.
makes sense. Plus, the count on Mariah is no longer in play here.
Right. There's obviously probation conditions in Kalamazoo and
All right, so obviously your way of dealing with this has not been very successful. So maybe the best way to do it is to keep your temper and but for now, pending sentence, there's still a no contact provision with Mariah Winchell. Even though she's not the named complainant. Let me give you a notice. May 5th. Let me see, today's the 3rd. You should be out of jail by then. What kind of other kinds of jobs have you done?
Sales, I have 5 to 10 years experience in sales. I worked at Ziegler Motorsports and Premier Custom Trailers and Schoolcraft.
All right. What'd you sell at Ziegler's?
Power sports products like dirt bikes, ATVs, side by sides, jet skis and stuff like that.
That Ziegler kid all over the world racing that stuff.
Hocevar,
No, not Hocevar. One of the Ziegler sons, right, races wave runners or something, I thought.
that's actually Aaron. Yeah, he runs the whole organization now.
Okay,
And Your Honor, just for clarification, with the jail sanction in Kalamazoo, that's being scheduled on alternating weekends, so he's not doing a straight 30. So
okay.
he's going into night until, I'm assuming, Sunday,
Well, Saturday, yeah.
Saturday, okay. So,
And there'll probably be some times that I serve during the week too, just because of the custody arrangements and stuff
right,
like
yeah,
that.
so he's trying to schedule it around when he doesn't have his child.
All right, Monday, May 5th. What I don't want to hear is any more bad news.
Yes, Your Honor.
It sounds like his mother and Miss Winchell are doing the custody exchanges, so they're not having.
See you on May 5th.
Thank you, Your Honor.